What is going on, Blind Tech World? It's Evan, bringing you guys another video on this Lenovo IdeaPad V570 computer, which is currently sitting in front of me, open and shut down. So, anyway, if you guys saw last week's video on the basic overview of this laptop, I kind of went over the computer, the physical aspects of it, the ports and everything. And I did tell you guys that I had upgraded its hard drive because I upgraded the original mechanical 640 something gigabyte hard drive to a 256 gig Intel SSD. And then I had mentioned that I had Linux on it, and I would be installing Windows 10 on it. So I did say that I would make a part 2 where I installed Windows on it, but there's some reasons for which I did not do that. Anyway, I got Windows installed on this computer, and it runs pretty well. There are a couple of big anomalies that I really do want to go over in this video. Anyway, I didn't film installing Windows though for a couple of reasons. The main one being that it was a absolute freaking pain in the behind to actually get it installed. I went through several hurdles to actually try and even get it running. So I was able to shut it down, and I was able to plug in. I made a bootable USB using the Microsoft Media Creation tool, which you can get off of their website. And what that allows you to do is make a bootable, portable, live install copy of Windows 10 on a DVD or a USB drive. So I did. I took one of my spare thumb drives, a 64 gig one, although it really didn't need to be that big. Made a bootable USB and put it in the computer, and I was able to get into the boot menu and get into the Windows pre-installation environment. And from there I was able to fire up Narrator, which you can do in the latest versions of Windows when you install it. Just hit Control Windows Enter when you know you're in the setup wizard, and the narrator will come on and start talking, and then you can use keyboard commands to go through the setup. I was not able to use the product key, which is on the back, to activate it. For some reason it kept kind of hanging up after at one of the steps in the setup. So what I had to do is click I don't have a product key, and then I kind of went through the rest of the setup. And then the next hurdle I had to deal with was this hard drive. It said it wasn't formatted and partitioned properly, so I found kind of a roundabout way of through Windows and Windows PE, the pre-install environment, to format the drive, get it partitioned properly. So I got that working, and finally, like about an hour and a half later, I was able to get Windows installing onto this hard drive, which took about half an hour to 45 minutes, and then it was ready for me to restart the computer. Now here's the big issues I've been having with this. This computer, if I didn't say this already, will not shut down or restart properly. I have to do it manually myself using the power button, which is really annoying and confusing. So I'll show you guys what it does in a minute, but what it basically what it does is it'll shut down properly. Windows will fully shut down, but the screen will just blacken out and it'll turn off, and the computer will just sit there, and the power light will stay on, the fan will stay on, the drive I'm sure will still be powered, and really it won't fully shut itself down, so I have to do it myself, and it won't fully restart, so I have to do it myself, which I guess that works. So after restarting the computer, I kind of panicked because the screen turned blank, and I was confused because I thought I'd possibly maybe bricked the computer or corrupted the BIOS somehow in some nasty way. But after holding the power button down for 5 seconds and shutting down and restarting the computer, I had to do that twice. Windows did boot from the hard drive, and it went to the setup, and Cortana came up, and I was able to successfully go through the Windows 10 setup process and log in with my Microsoft account, and that's how I was able to activate Windows under my Microsoft account without the product key. So this is a fully activated version of Windows 10 Home 64-bit. So I was able to get that, and then I had to manually restart it again, and it went to the desktop, and I'm and then I kind of left it for a week. And then this weekend I got Dropbox and some other programs installed, and the thing runs perfectly fine apart from that issue. So enough talking, I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing on, and I want to show you guys how fast this thing loads, because it is freaking fast with that SSD in it. So I'm going to be quiet. You'll hear the fan kick on for a few seconds, and then you'll hear the Windows startup sound, because I have that on. So we're going to hit the power button in 3, 2, 1. That was not the computer. That was my phone. So it's already, it played the sound, NVDA is going to come up. Now I'm going to type my PIN.
Welcome.
Hopefully y'all didn't see that. So it just logged me in.
NVDA, please wait. Oh no.
And we're logged in, and we're on the desktop now. So I'm going to hit Windows M. And it does have some issues. It doesn't always...
Start button.
There we go. So now we're on the desktop.
Desktop list. Recycled bin.
And some things are starting up. It's starting up Dropbox. And it's ready to go. I mean, I can do whatever I want now. So this thing runs perfectly fine. I don't really want to demonstrate too much on here because, I mean, it just looks like a normal computer now. It runs. The DVD drive works. If I hit the eject button all the way. So that works. Now, I'm not going to shut this down again because I did that already like 3 different times because this is like my 4th time trying to make this video, but you guys already know what it does. It's like really kind of weird. Now, I guess there are some other tiny little issues that I have. This computer has a little fingerprint scanner right below the keyboard on the right side of the computer. And it's like a little rectangular indent. And so this does have a fingerprint scanner, but it does not work with Windows Hello fingerprint recognition because this computer, which was released in I think 2010 or 2011, originally came with software on it called BioAccess. And what that is that's kind of the software that lets you work and interact with that fingerprint scanner and, log into your computer. But I don't have BioAccess on this computer. I can't really install it. I also, for some reason, couldn't find a new modern BIOS update for this computer. So this thing is still running on this the 2011 firmware that it originally shipped with. And I don't know if there ever was a BIOS update for this. I installed Lenovo System Update. It couldn't find any new updates for it. So here's what I'm amazed about though, is the sound drivers and the display drivers and the mouse and the keyboard and the drives and the USB and the card reader, everything works fine. And I guess that's because, this thing has some generic, goodness gracious, notifications coming up here. Some generic Realtek hardware and a Synaptics touch pointing device, whatever crap that I don't know. The crappy Synaptics driver, let's just call it that. So it's got all the generic drivers, so I guess I'm not surprised that everything just worked fine. I don't have any of the Lenovo software on here because I use the clean install instead of Lenovo's OEM. So no Lenovo bloatware, which is okay, but it kind of sucks because I don't have any of Lenovo's, drivers or things specialized for this computer, but it works fine. Other than that, this thing has no issues apart from the boot issue in the fingerprint scanner. So I'm gonna say I already tried to fix the startup issue. I did what people suggested. I went into the Windows power options and I turned off fast startup or quick fast boot or whatever they call it, which in theory should have fixed the issue, but it didn't. I shut the computer down, pulled the battery out, and held the power button for 30 seconds and just left it. That didn't fix it. So it's an issue that is right now beyond my capabilities, and if I ever get that issue fixed, I'll make an update video. If you guys have any other suggestions that have not been tried yet, leave them down in the comments. I should mention this thing is running on battery right now, so let's see how much it's died. Oh, turn the speech back on.
Speech mode talk. 86%, 2 hours and 13 minutes remaining.
So the battery on this thing ain't that good. I mean, it'll last for about a couple hours, maybe 2 hours, which is fine for this age of a battery. I will say I did unplug it like 10 minutes ago, so. And then we can check the system performance right now, and we'll see how.
43.5 RAM used. CPU at 26.4, 86 battery remaining. About 2 hours, 13 minutes.
And that CPU percentage is going to go down as the computer sits for a few minutes and just, does updating and all that crap. So
New notification from Dropbox. Dropbox.
So it's just doing Dropbox updates, and that's obviously using quite a bit of, well, not quite a bit, but a little bit of CPU right now. So yeah, I mean, the thing works. For those who are curious, by the way, about the specs of this computer, I already made a video on that, and it was the first video I made about this computer, and I do believe I went over those specs, the processor and the RAM and everything. So if you really are curious, go watch the other video. It's pretty short. And anyway, thanks for sitting through this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace out.